This pandemic, this coronavirus period has really exposed the government poor medical facilities. It has really exposed the government that they have really not been doing so much in the medical sector. So I think this should have been a lesson. The government should have learned a lesson through these trying times, but still it shows that they haven't learned anything. Sorry to say this, but I think we are being ruled by people that don't really think. Because why will you want to renovate a building that needs no renovation? The building shows no sign of distress. Then you want to waste 27 billion on that building, the National Assembly building, when other countries are trying to raise their economy due to COVID-19 issues. Then you want to waste 27 billion on renovation when the health sector is poor, the educational sector is poor. So many sectors need so much funds to raise them up. We need to boost Nigerian economy, but still $27 billion want to be flushed down the drain for renovation. That shows that Nigeria has no future in the next 5 years if we continue like this. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to Jesus Loves You channel. And on this platform, we keep you up to date on things that are happening around the world. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And also, don't forget to smash the bell by the side so we can keep you updated every single day. President Muhammadu Buhari has reduced the 37 billion naira budget for the renovation of National Assembly complex to 27.7 billion naira. The federal government in the 2020 revised budget proposal cut 9.3 billion naira from the budget for the renovation of the National Assembly complex. The renovation of the complex at the initial cost of 37 billion naira, which is to be executed by the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA), attracted criticism from a large section of Nigerians amid the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on Nigerian businesses, with many concerned Nigerians and organizations calling on the federal government to use the funds to better the lives of Nigerians and their suffering businesses instead. However, following the drop in the price of crude oil and the fall in the projected government revenue, it was learned that the federal government decided to reduce the budget for the renovation, ignoring calls to cancel the renovation in its entirety for now. President Buhari had on Thursday presented the 2020 Appropriation Act Amendment Bill to the National Assembly, which both the Senate and the House of Representatives passed for second reading on the same day. Buhari explained that the amendment became necessary in view of the sharp decline in crude oil prices and the cut in Nigeria's crude oil production quota occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. In the proposed revised budget, while the National Assembly complex renovation budget was reduced to 27.7 billion, a reduction of 25.1%, the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, which is meant to cater for all the primary healthcare centers across the 774 local government areas in the country, was significantly reduced from 44.4 billion to 25.5 billion, a decrease of more than 42.5%, lesser than the fund approved for the renovation of the National Assembly complex. The Universal Basic Education (UBE) fund was also reduced significantly from 111.7 billion to 51.1 billion, by more than 54.2%, according to documents obtained by an open data organization. The UBE is a reformed program aimed at providing greater access to quality basic education throughout Nigeria. It seems to ensure an uninterrupted access to a 9-year formal education by providing free and compulsory basic education for children of schools-going age. Incidentally, the budget for the National Assembly, which was 128 billion, was cut by only 10%, bringing its revised total budget to 115.2 billion. The same calculation was applied to the National Judicial Council (NJC), as its 110 billion naira budget originally was reduced by just 10%, bringing it down to 99 billion naira. Speaking on Tuesday, Joshua Olufemi described the cut in critical sectors like education and health as a setback to Nigeria's quest for development. National Assembly and the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and other agencies of the government have been reduced only by 10%. Respectively, Budgetary provision for education is reduced by close to 55%. Similarly, provision for basic healthcare funds is reduced by over 42% with the reality of COVID-19 pandemic. Reduction in budgetary shares for education and healthcare does not reflect the prioritization of the citizens' real need. With the growing number of COVID-19 cases in the country, an increase in budget share to the healthcare sector is expected to expand education access to the teeming Nigerian school children who are deprived of education during this period. Additional budgetary commitment is also required. This is so to cover up the cost of setting up virtual learning alternatives. In his comments, the Executive Chairman, Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, Debo Adediran, said that it is unfortunate that Nigeria, which is the poverty capital of the world, would relegate the health and educational sector. Adediran stated that Nigeria has one of the highest maternal and mortality rates in the world, as well as out of children, and government ought to give priority to health and educational sector. He said, why should we waste 27 billion on building that is not showing any sign of distress? It is a misplaced priority and a total waste. The National Assembly does not need repaying, let alone renovation. Nigeria is the poverty capital in the world, despite one of the most endowed countries. It is the misplaced of priority that brought us to the sorry state we found ourselves. Nigerians are dying from treatable and preventable diseases, and the government thinks it is the right time to slash the health budget while maintaining the 27 billion for renovation. It is a shame. Also speaking, the Executive Director of Human and Development Agenda, Larry Suraj, noted that Buhari could not claim not to be aware of the injustice being done to Nigerians. Suraj stated that reducing the health budget showed that the government has not learnt any lesson from the COVID-19 pandemic. It is obvious that the government does not have the interest of the masses at heart. The pandemic has exposed the poor state of public health centers as they fail to meet up to the standard in the pandemic. To the reduced basic health care funds by almost 50% and then maintaining the budget for National Assembly complex renovation, which has no bearing on the people, is a betrayal of trust, and all citizens must reject it. President Muhammadu Buhari ignores suffering Nigerians and gives National Assembly 27 billion for renovation. The irony of all this is that the healthcare budget was reduced from over 44 billion to 25 billion. The educational sector, that's the UBE, was reduced from 111.7 billion to over 51 billion. This is over 40 to 50% reduction in this sector. This sector are the two major sectors, but this sector was drastically reduced by 50%. Now, looking at the governmental agencies like the National Judicial Council, the National Assembly, and also the INEC was reduced by only 10% reduction. This shows that the government doesn't have the masses at heart. In a time like this, when the health sector are at the forefront fighting coronavirus, instead their budget should be increased. This pandemic, this coronavirus period, has really exposed the government poor medical facilities. It has really exposed the government that they have really not been doing so much in the medical sector. So I think this should have been a lesson. The government should have learned a lesson through these trying times, but still it shows that they haven't learned anything. Sorry to say this, but I think we are being ruled by people that don't really think. Because why will you want to renovate a building that needs no renovation? The building shows no sign of distress. Then you want to waste 27 billion on that building, the National Assembly building, when other countries are trying to raise their economy due to COVID-19 issues. Then you want to waste 27 billion on renovation when the health sector is poor, the educational sector is poor. So many sectors need so much funds to raise them up. We need to boost Nigerian economy, but still $27 billion want to be flushed down the drain for renovation. That shows that Nigeria has no future in the next 5 years if we continue like this. You see, at trying times like this, we need to set our priorities right. So many countries' economy has really crumbled due to COVID-19. So the little resources we have, we need to maximize it to get good output out of it. Some celebrities and other prominent people have really aired their mind concerning this budget. Two-Face said, the superstar said, is ashamed of Nigerian government to waste 27 billion on renovation at these trying times. Banky W said, at this point in time where people, the masses are struggling with food, struggling with health care, the government wants to flush $27 billion down the drain. What a pity for the Nigerian economy. Thank you, viewers, and thanks for staying tuned till this very hour. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to smash the bell by the side so we can keep you updated every single day. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment box below. Let's know what you think about the Nigerian 2020 budget. Let's interact, and also share this video. Drop your comments, like and subscribe. Thank you. See you soon, and Jesus loves you.